Greetings and God bless. I'm just trying to adjust my camera here. So, I wanted to talk about Burlington Trailways. If you've never taken it, if sorry about that. So, if you're used to taking Greyhound, the drivers don't have music that's playing really loud, um, and but if you're going in the Midwest, if you're in like South Dakota, Minneapolis, Iowa, Greyhound is not doing like the Midwest. And Greyhound is farming out their the bus service to like Peter Pan or Jefferson Lines. So Jefferson Lines is another Midwest bus stop. So if you are particularly, it seems like black guys really have a hard time with the country music that it seems a good number of the Burlington Trailways bus drivers listen to, and they do listen to it fairly loudly. You can hear it, most of the way in the bus. And honestly, like I know the stereotype probably people are like, oh, certain people think all white people like country music. I don't like country music. I was not enjoying it as well, but um, there like there's mental illness in the world, and when you're taking public transportation, I do think everybody needs to be considerate. I don't when people are on their phones and they have their phones jacked up loud and they're talking loud on the phone, that's really wrong. I mean, I think that's kind of criminal because we don't want to hear your crazy conversation. We don't want to hear you. We're just trying to get somewhere. And, this is not your living room. You did not purchase this entire bus. This is not your charter bus. And I would say, I mean, I'm grateful for the drivers driving, and I understand if they need to listen to music, but it really should not be so loud. And if they really need it so loud, they should have some headphones. So I was on this bus and going, I think it was South Dakota to Iowa. And just let me tell you, if you're trying to get in the Midwest anywhere, like I'm trying to make a trip from uh, to Des Moines, from Ames to Cedar Rapids. I'm planning that trip, and they make you go to Chicago before they drop you off back at Cedar Rapids. So I'm going from Ames to Chicago to have to come back to Cedar Rapids. Like I think that they want they're basically taking you hostage as a traveler. They're taking you hundreds of miles out of your way when they could stop you. They could stop at Cedar Rapids, but they want you to pay for this gas money to go where you don't plan to go. I don't want to go to Chicago. Maybe I will because I'm being forced to go. So, anyways, the bus line is weird. Like, for instance, if you go to the Rapid City uh, Jefferson bus line, Greyhound bus line, but it's Jefferson. There, you can purchase the highest, most expensive one where you get two bags under the bus. Like the lady was like, I was like, yeah, I have these two bags. She's like, that costs extra. And I'm like, no, I paid for it. And it was like she was trying to do this kind of scam on me. Like she was trying to get me to pay more. She didn't even bother initially looking at my ticket. She was just like, you just got to pay extra. And I think that they prey upon, like some bus station people prey upon those who are ignorant. And I don't know if managers hire predatory type of employees, if they just want to. I mean, when somebody's a budget traveler, they're a budget traveler for a reason. There's a reason why they're not driving by a car, they're not taking the plane, they're not taking the train. And it just really bothers me when it's a budget kind of a thing, and there's predators there trying to extract more money out of somebody who's already on a budget. I'm like, it just seems evil. So be warned about that. So just know, if you pay the full amount to get 2 pieces of luggage under the bus, just be on the ball for when some con artist at the bus station is trying to get you to pay more money. Um, and anyway, so so the bus drivers, if you're black and you really cannot stand country music, um, if you're traveling through the Midwest, like from South Dakota to Iowa or something like that, it is possible you're going to hear a bus driver with loud country music. The thing is, you can ask the driver to turn it down. The Burlington Trailways drivers seem considerate. I was like weirded out too. It was the first time I had ever been on a bus where the interstate bus driver had music blasting. I've never experienced that. I mean, I've taken buses all my life because I've just always been a pedestrian. But what I notice is some people think that they don't get to say anything, um, no matter what. If you're disabled, or if you're a person of color, or if you're an ex convict or whatever, but you're taking an interstate bus, and if the music is too loud, or if the temperature is too cold, you get to ask the bus driver, hey, can you turn that down a little bit? And if he does, he does. If he doesn't, he doesn't. But generally, they will. That's their responsibility, no matter what your status, in the world is. And I did that once I realized. So this young black man with, like, he seemed to have like serious mental illness. He was like talking to himself and just really freaking out. Um, And so I asked the driver to turn the music down, and the driver did a little bit. And so, anyways, if country music is a loud trigger for you, and this happened again where this black guy was like, "Hey, can you turn down your music?" I mean, he said something, but I don't. He was speaking in like jive or something. Like I think he might have had some sort of brain damage because I could not understand what he was saying. Um, but I mean, I had previous experience, so I could put two and two together. Uh, so my point is that if you're in the Plains area, the Midwest Plains area, and you're taking a bus and country music triggers you, number one, you can just ask the bus driver to turn it down. Number two, be prepared. Have some headphones. I don't know what it is with people. People don't bring headphones with them. They'll have their phones on and yammering loud. And this is all demographics, like this white lady, who looked like a librarian. She was like blasting her FaceTime loud. It's like 40 strangers do not want to hear your FaceTime with people, like, messing around, like paper sounds and clicking in your conversation. Nobody wants to hear your private conversation. I don't understand why. And people are not in their right minds. That's just the thing. People are not in their right minds right now. So, um, but if I can say, please bring your own headphones. They're $1.25 at the dollar store. So just get some headphones. It's not that hard, and practice some courtesy, really. Like, you're not in a video game. We are real human beings that are separate from you. We are not extensions of your imagination. Like, so stop making life hell for the rest of us just because you can or want to, or you have no sense of consideration. Like, just get some headphones. And with that, also, if the driver's loud country music is too loud for you when you're taking an interstate bus, you get to ask the driver, hey, can you turn it down? Lastly, something I've been noticing, so I've taken the bus um, from like the Midwest to the East Coast, and lately in Iowa, and young black men are there. So their waist is here, their reproductive organs are here, and their pants are here. And it's a lot of guys that are just wearing, it's like they have that underwear. They're walking around like young black men in Iowa are walking around with their underwear all the way exposed, and you see their junk. And I'm like, I'm like, I'm just trying to take the bus. I'm just trying to get home. And so I think there's this indecent exposure culture now going on, where guys think that it's fun to walk around in their underwear. And so technically they have pants on, but it's below their underwear. And I feel like I'm being molested or something. Like, I don't want to see some guy's outline of his parts, like close up. Like the guy was like, so I was sitting in my seat and he was just standing there. So his nether regions is right in my face. Like there's no shame, like there's no decency. And I bet this guy was a nice guy. And maybe he wasn't, maybe he's a jerk. But there's a lot, like all the guys are like holding their pants up when they're walking, because their pants are falling off their bodies. And they, like, I remember in the 90s there's this like guys would waddle. They wouldn't have their pants all the way up, and they would waddle so the pants wouldn't fall down. This was called cool, this was called comfortable. But now the guys are walking around in their underwear. These young black men are walking around in their underwear. How are you supposed to take some of these seriously with a half naked guy? Like that guy's ready to have sex or go pee or poop. Like that's what or when somebody's upright and walking around in their underwear, what are they doing? But this is indecent exposure. This is where we are right now. um and I don't like it. This is not like, it boggles my mind. So anyway, maybe like it's just time to learn to drive a car, learn to drive. For me, if people are going to be like obscene, um, and nobody's like I don't think a bus driver should let somebody half naked go onto the bus. But I think the bus drivers just are maybe just super tolerant, because really messed up people, the bus is the only way they can travel. So who I'm seeing is probably like very super budget people like myself traveling. It seems like there's a lot of like sanctuary cities, people imported from Africa. There's a lot of Mexican folks, like both the sanctuary city and Mexican people don't know a word of English. They don't know go to gate 4. They don't know. Also, who I'm seeing are very seriously developmentally disabled people that I'm like they shouldn't be traveling by themselves, because they have a hard time with comprehension of English. And then there's like seriously disabled people, or very elderly people traveling. It's very sad, actually, that just all these people are all alone. And just, I mean, and maybe they're fine, maybe they're happy, maybe everything's fine. And then there's the ex-convicts. This is what I've always seen, is like people who've been released from jail or prison, and they're always sitting in the back of the bus and talking about their experiences. And then there's the wealthy people who could totally afford a plane and a car and everything, and they're just probably thinking it's cute, slumming and taking Greyhound, or maybe they're on a budget for that moment. Uh, but yeah, that's um, something else that's unfortunate is people will take up two seats, and so in Iowa, a lot of people are taking the bus, and people are like, like I was in a crowded bus, and uh, you know, and so I was like, I took a seat next to this lady, and she had scooted her butt all the way over, so it was like in my seat too, somewhat. And I was just like, I need to sit. I'm not gonna, and people just are haughty and offended that you are taking a seat that you paid for. So, yeah, and people will hog up both seats, even though it's a full bus. And, I understand it's hard. It's, taking the bus is unpleasant or whatever, but, uh, you know, uh, it just makes it really hard for people to get to where they're going. But, you know, what I notice is that there's like this classism, these two layers of classism, and I noticed it when I was a kid growing up in New York City. So I was a working, child of working class parents, and there would be, and I would go to a school, public school, and there would be the kids from the projects and the rich kids. The kids from the projects had the same type of entitlement, the same type of haughty entitlement, snotty, mean spirited entitlement that you would get from rich, elite white people. So it's like, it's the same vibe. The welfare kids get all this government funding, and their families and extended family, everybody's just, taking, I don't know, just they had the newest thing, and um, just like the white kids did, and the white kids had different new things, or the rich kids. I'm saying, because I was white and I didn't get the new things. We dug through the trash when people, uh, like they would. Some people would do a major declutter. We'd see all this trash, notice there was clothes in it, and so we'd go through it, and we would go to thrift shops. We rarely bought clothes firsthand in my family. Uh, and so the rich kids, though, will go skiing for winter time, or go to Florida in the winter time or something like that. And the kids from the who had welfare, like their parents weren't having to pay rent, or not as much rent as, let's say, the rich people. Uh, and there was just, it seemed like there was a lot of conspicuous consumption of the people in welfare, on welfare. So, and that's what I noticed, is like there's like this haughty Marie Antoinette vibe in the oppressed communities. There's like, I deserve to impose my will on you. I deserve to take your space. I deserve to take your oxygen. I deserve to take your seat. I deserve to take your child. I deserve to take your biology. I deserve to take your health, because it makes me feel better, because it placates my sense of victimhood. And then, like there's the wealthy elites who are totally like that. I get to take your breath. I get to take your health. I get to take your job. I get to take your home. I get to take your peace of mind. Because that's my job. Because that's what I get to do. Because I gotta pay my bills. And I just think, like, for me, the working class, that's who I think are the decent people. Because I'm not saying that all rich people or all people on welfare are elitist jerks, but I do find that they're like little Marie Antoinettes, and it's the working class, and I gotta say, it's the working class that take the bus. Like those are the good people, because they know how hard life is. They are really between a rock and a hard place. They can't get the government welfare, and they're not rich bitches. They're working class and they're having to be in a car. That's like the poorest people because they have the least amount of time and they're under the greatest amount of pressure because they have probably a crappy apartment. uh, it's probably too loud. There's probably something toxic, like toxic fumes or toxic mold or some sort of like structural issue in the place. And you know, sidewalk is probably not taken care of, and there's probably no bus shelter. There's probably no bus seat. There's probably no bus sign when they're trying to get to work. And then they're having to show up at like what 6 o'clock, 7 a.m. in the morning and work in a place that's not properly regulated by OSHA. So there's probably bad air quality there, and there's probably way too loud sounds, 300 decibel sounds going on all day, and there's probably weird things going on, and like the working class person who has to take public transportation, and that person has to deal with all the seasons, being somewhere with no shelter in the sun and 100-degree heat, or having to be without a shelter, waiting for the bus in 20-degree weather or 20 below weather, having to cross the street when the people who have own cars and they're on welfare, or where the rich people who have cars and the working class person is trying to walk across the street to get to work or get home, and these jerks are cutting them off because they're like, I have my like either I'm a landlord and my renters are so mean to me, or I'm on welfare and my people were oppressed. Like it's the same mentality, in my opinion. Like these two groups, like one would think that they're opposites, but it's the same people, it's the same mind, just change the mask, and it's the same demon, I think. So I know this is probably not very pleasant but to hear, and it probably sounds like and who knows, maybe I'm mistaken about something, but I just know working class people, and the working class people that take the bus, those are my people, because we really know how, like, we like those have the hardest. They're totally abused, totally taken for granted, totally taken advantage of, totally walked all over by everybody, because the working class people, they're bagging the groceries for the person on welfare, and they're bagging the groceries for the rich person, and they're making the coffee for, or whatever, um, for for the welfare or for the rich, and they probably get treated not that great by both. um, so that's just what I think. I could be wrong, but ultimately, what everybody needs is Lord Jesus Christ. We're in a fallen world, so I can't blame everybody for being so um, self-serving and just a detriment to civilization. But it does seem like worse lately. And guys, pull up your pants. Keep your pants on. Keep your pants on your body. At least cover your crotch. Cover your reproductive organs. I don't want to see it. Nobody else wants to see your reproductive organs when they're taking the bus or when they're out walking. And cities, please stop this indecent exposure. Stop, like we don't want to see that. And I hear that the having your pants down to your knees is like it's a prostitution kind of a thing. So is this a solicitation that's going on? And cities, please, like, don't, like, stop this male solicitation for prostitution. Like, I don't want to see it. I don't think it's a good energy, and it's like Iowa. Like, like, please. But, what I notice is there's a lot of museums to the Freemasons here, and there's a big insurance company presence. And insurance companies have a lot to do with the downfall of the United States. Like I think they were friends. Like they were influencing Woodrow Wilson in, was it 1917? And I think insurance companies make money off of wars. And I would guess that with the current globalist uh, like plan to destroy humanity, like I think insurance companies bet on um, children becoming, you know, going to jail or becoming sick or mentally defective or something like that, or mentally compromised. So, what I understand is that the globalists um, bet on the um, like people becoming decrepit and people, um, not doing well. They get paid for betting on that, and I think it must be through insurance companies. So, maybe this indecent exposure that's allowed, this male prostitution solicitation that seems to be going on by young black men with their pants at their knees everywhere. Um, like maybe that's part of this Freemasonic thing. I don't know. I mean, it could be just that nobody's like people just think that's just how it is, and that they have to live with it. But like I was saying at the beginning of this, if you're a black guy and the white driver is playing loud country music on this interstate travel and you're going to be on there for an hour, you can say, hey, please turn it down. And it's not a racist thing. I asked the driver to turn it down because I don't like country music. I certainly don't want to hear it blasted for hours myself. So it's not a racist thing. It's just a music preference thing, and you're perfectly welcome to let the bus driver know this. And same goes for cities. Like, tell your young black men to keep their pants up their body. Like, indecent exposure is a law. Like, don't allow people to be indecently exposing their penises like half out their pants or all the way. Like, what? Iowa, come on. So I don't know. Things are nonsensical, and it could be worse, I guess. It really could be worse. So um, that's my latest thought. Thanks for watching. God bless.